10 playdays ago, 12 teams entered the Crucible, and through many playdays and lots of competition, we have narrowed that number down to just 4 remaining. Welcome to the penultimate day of the Crucible. My name is CDAPS, and I'm joined by a couple of analysts as we're going to take you along this journey. I'm joined by Yali. I'm joined by Mason. Yali, we'll start with you, then go to Mason right after. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm just really excited to be here. One of my first opportunities to really come in and show what I got on a good, high quality broadcast. So really excited to be here. Excited to have you guys here too. It'll be a good time.
Very, very high quality broadcast. I mean, this is it, right? No, I'm excited. Crucible, good time, Connor. It's fun to be back on the desk with you, of course. Been on the action casting a few games as well, so it's been a fun event.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're all trying to be really professional here, and all of a sudden you whip out the World War Lean shirt, so, maybe
you
I
guys
misread.
wear your shirts.
I misread the situation. I wasn't told I was supposed to wear that shirt. So
no, I don't know. Clamp said sounds like you just...
There's no way I've actually been trolled like this. Have I actually been trolled? Like, did you guys not get shirts?
I did not get a shirt. I was
Are
not
you
told to
shitting
get a
me?
shirt.
I didn't know anything about this until like an hour ago.
Oh, I'm so pissed. You know what? I got a shirt. I'm happy. Let's do it. Like, fuck it.
Well, we do have the brackets because, we're stepping in now with a full desk for an event that's already
maybe the green fillet is doing it for me because I'm wearing green.
Brewing in the Crucibles here. Yesterday we had a couple of
I have like an
games.
accent
The
light
right side of the bracket.
on the
It was
right
that
side,
JJ
just kind of like
upset Mason that really, started things off.
Of course, beating Cruelty. That's no one had that as the selection other than the players of JJ and Co themselves. But they looked solid in that match. Okay, well, this guy thinks he's so smart. You're a host. Shut up. I'm kidding, bro. JJ and Co, they looked really good in that game yesterday. I think Cruelty had a bit of an off match as well. So a couple things kind of being on that side. And the same could be said for Space Shoes against Friendship in their game as well. For Space Shoes, very quiet day, off day for their team, not really shooting as well. So both teams maybe not playing against the strongest opponent that they could have in the quarterfinal game, and now will have to play against each other, who will probably be rather strong and feeling good over those wins, especially JJ and Co beating the favorite to win this event, Cruelty.
Yeah, Cruelty was swinging in Element Yali. They looked so good, but as soon as they came into the Crucible, it feels like they got kind of kneecapped a little bit. They weren't at full strength.
Yeah, I mean, part of that comes down to the fact that Ivan is still on the team, but on vacation. So his replacement, Caden T, has been a little bit subpar, I believe, over the last two matches that he played in, only going 11 and 22, which is not the kind of numbers that Ivan has been known to put up. So that's one part of it. Another part of it, I think, is just that Cruelty is kind of a known quantity at this point. They know what kind of game Cruelty likes to play. And so leading into that, JJ and Co, in particular, having played them a couple times at this point, was able to just read into it, and they knew exactly what to do, pulled out all the stops, and absolutely rolled them on the second and third maps.
Yeah, it was really nice to see JJ and Co finally get a win where they seem like they've been so close. In Element, just a few weeks ago, they were 3-0 going into bracket play. They got immediately booted into the lower bracket and immediately sent home, so it was disappointing. But I feel like we've already talked about JJ enough. We can go ahead and bring up the rosters of both of these teams because we got Friendship Team on the right-hand side, a roster that is incredibly strong. The runners-up of Element Mason going up against JJ and Co. That seems to be newly reformed.
Yeah, and Friendship Team, of course, playing with the sub of Yardi after they lost Wi-Fi during the regular season. So that also adds in a bit of a twist here for the team. Same for JJ and Co, right? They've got Epic playing in place. It's Giddy today instead of Yardi. Okay, so that's an interesting change.
That's one of my favorite players of all time. I am very happy that Giddy
we were
is
big
playing.
Giddy fans.
I am a huge
we were big
Giddy
fans.
fan.
Well, but to credit Yardi, I mean, he did play very well in that last game. So now Friendship Team, again, they had a little bit of a run with Yardi. We kind of got to see what they do, but now it's all going to change again. But I think Giddy in for Wi-Fi is a much more like one-to-one swap than it is. I think Giddy is actually a better player overall, like just for what he brings to the team. But Wi-Fi played very specific roles, especially on the defensive side, which Friendship Team you saw struggle a lot yesterday with Yardi subbing it.
Yeah, when you're stepping into the shoes of Wi-Fi, it's always going to be an uphill battle, especially with Friendship Team. They were formerly LG. They went to the Esports World Cup. They qualified for that event as a 5, and Wi-Fi was an incredibly instrumental part, Yali. And you can see these numbers just are completely, kind of what you would expect.
Yeah, I mean, well, okay, you say what you would expect. It's what you would expect losing Wi-Fi, but having your win percentages being 75% on attack and 40% on defense, I think speaks to a couple things. One of them being that that's atypical, right? You don't normally see a team come out and just absolutely rule on attack and struggle on defense. The other thing is that this maybe speaks to a little bit of room for improvement, right? Because obviously you should be winning a lot of your defenses. That is, in theory, the favored side on almost every map. So the fact that you're losing more than half of your defenses means there's a lot of room for improvement there, but that does mean there's only one direction to go, and that's up.
Yeah, I completely agree. Most of the time when teams struggle, it's going to be on that attacking side. And if they do find any sort of success, Mason, it's because one player can step up and really kind of pop off, maybe go for a 3-4K. Meanwhile, you think with a player like Silent on Friendship Team, where he does kind of fill that role, the ability to just take over rounds constantly, you would hope that he could do it on the defensive side as well.
And he's shown moments like that. Yesterday, I remember he was playing Vigil and kind of just had a crazy 3 or 4K with the Boss G, challenging everything in his wake, even a Blackbeard that was standing there ADSing him. So, you've got the talent to be able to do the job, but the thing is Wi-Fi filled a lot of those key gaps in the bomb site itself. And so the extensions were still fine and played by Friendship Team, but where they fell short was, or against Spaceships yesterday, was the overall I guess the gaps that they left open and the ability for Shubes to pull themselves back into rounds, because Wi-Fi was often challenging a lot of those site-held angles and the cutoffs and stuff that Shubes were holding, which were able to bring them back into rounds where Friendship Team was often getting the opening pick, but then Shubes would just pull themselves right back into it.
Yeah, and just when you think about a team like Space Shubes, sure, they didn't necessarily show their best foot forward. They weren't the strongest roster, but it wasn't like Friendship Team looked completely infallible. You can say once again, hey, maybe there was the sub issues. Yeah, you have now Giddy instead of Yardy, but overall, Yali, when you just look at how good Silent has been typically, it makes you feel like he's not even up to his own standard. We expect him to be a world eater, somebody that completely dominates games.
Yeah, Silent has not been quite to the level that we expect from him, right? And I feel like there's other team players on that team taking steps into those positions. But at the same time, right, Space Shubes, while they weren't able to pull it off, they didn't win, right? They didn't win any maps. They ultimately were handedly taken down. Removing a player like Silent from your actual fragging role, that kind of hurt them, slowed them down quite a lot. There were a lot of moments where Space Shubes was so focused on utility and things like that, where maybe a player like what we normally would see Silent, aggressive, able to swing, able to get aggressive and stop a lot of these heavy utility plays. Just not happening, and that's where Space Shubes was able to find a lot of gaps in what Friendship Team was putting up for their defense.
Well, I think that Silent was a really solid player in the game yesterday. He was a very important player, especially in big rounds, but he didn't have his impact felt throughout every single round. It was only around here, around there, around here, around there. And throughout the season, he's been very important on the entry, but that's something that Silent needs to improve on in this match against JJ and Co.
Yeah, and sure, we can say now if we transition on to JJ and Co. We talked a lot about Friendship Team. They still do have an opponent in the form of JJ and Co. We want to say that maybe Recited might have laid a perfect blueprint for exactly what a player should do, because Mason, in the games yesterday, he was absolutely lights out.
Yeah, I think that ultimately JJ, very, very good team overall, but also Recited had some good moments. I mean, the JJ and Co team as a whole showed up very strong against Cruelty, who, of course, as you mentioned, Yali, were a little bit crippled. They didn't have Ivan, one of their star players, but still, ultimately, they should have been a team that were going to show up in that game, and they just were not quite able to hold up to it.
And with that, we do have an interview with the titular man of JJ & Co. We got a chance to sit down with him, talk, and let him speak his mind. So enjoy, everybody.
So yesterday's game, we had a great game plan going in. We might just have some internal terrorism and internal issues within the team, because we as a team the night before the game watched the VOD of SSGA versus Cruelty in Element 4. Our game plan, which we talked about during the night, was to replicate exactly how SSGA played. Together, a lot of trap ops, kind of let them execute, kind of just like let them do nothing for the whole game. Tried that map 1, and then half my team goes, why the fuck aren't we fucking swinging them and playing like it's scrims? Fuck this shit, we're playing it like it's scrims. Imagine it's scrims. And we imagined it was scrims, and then we shit on them. Going into the LG match, we don't really care what they're doing. We're kind of more focused on our side, you know what I mean? We are going to play some good old JJ & Co. / Fluffy Aimer style Siege. We are not going to give a shit if we die. We do not care if we lose a round, and we do not care if we lose a map. They are going to be swung, and they're going to have to win a fucking gunfight. So let's see if they can do it. So for the LG roster, I mean, I honestly think they're all fucking shit. Let's be honest, guys. I'm just going to say what everyone's been thinking. Eddie's fucking ass, guys. Everyone knows Eddie's ass. Eddie is fucking shit. They were the T1 team. Like, the T1 team. Like, they're not even a fucking real T1 team. They were on a fucking Mickey Mouse org that paid them, like, fucking $300 a month. They were a Mickey Mouse T1 team that couldn't even win NA T2. They lost to SSGA. Like, I know my team fucking got 8th, but, like, no one thinks my team's good. They actually fucking suck. They're frauds.
To say that JJ knows how to set the stakes for a game and really, invite a target onto his back would be a little bit of an understatement, but we do have the map bans ready, Mason, if we want to go through them, because we can talk all we want about these teams and what they're going to do. We don't quite know the maps yet. Those are pretty important.
Excited. But yeah, going into the map veto, maybe the map veto. Okay. We're waiting on the map veto to get ready. I didn't hear it, in the ears, of course, because I'm deaf and I just ignore everything that's said. But to set the stage a little bit more for the match, I think that ultimately the map veto is important. We saw teams let Friendship Team, or we saw Space Tubes let Friendship Team go to Clubhouse, which is their most dominant map by far and away in the last few months. So I would expect JJ & Co. to ban it, and there it is, instantly off the ban. I haven't even seen the map veto yet, and the fact that it's the first map ban means that JJ & Co. have done their research, which is rather easy to get against Friendship Team because those are the maps that they like to play. They do enjoy Clubhouse. Skyscraper, not as much, but I think that that's more of a comfort ban for the JJ & Co. side of things. Layer and Consulate to simplify the game. Of course, playing with the substitute, it makes things different. Even if you have an expert like Diddy in the bag, it's still going to be a little bit more difficult. And Nighthaven Labs, this is a map that JJ & Co. really like. JJ has expressed his love for this map, and he thinks that they're one of the strongest teams at this level of competition on Labs.
And Yali, I know you're a little bit more familiar as well with maybe what Friendship Team might have in their back pocket. Going to a map like Cafe, it does make sense due to their history because they are a pretty aggressive team, and kind of letting JJ & Co. step up and allow that through is a little bit perplexing to me.
Yeah, Friendship Team is a team that's not going to have any difficulty whatsoever breaking through any hard holds, any positions like Pixel, for example, on the top floor, or getting down onto the very bottom floor, the bakery position. Friendship Team's going to melt all right through those. Seeing the Decider go to Chalet as well, that's also a map that has a lot of those really tight areas, right? Jungle has all sorts of crossfires built up onto it, and Friendship Team knows how to dominate those. And they've done it in Pro League. They're probably going to do it today as well, but that's only if we get that far.
Yeah, we still have to go through the first two maps, the first one being Nighthaven Labs of JJ & Co.'s choice. Friendship Team, they'll be starting on that advantageous defensive side, Mason. Real quick, I do want to give you the opportunity to go predictions. I want round count as well. Who's winning this one?
Ooh, round count and predictions. Well, honestly, with the map pool, just looking at the history of the teams, I do like the edge for Friendship Team just because they have some really, really good stats. These are the 3 best maps, I would argue, in the map pool itself. So I would say it's probably looking like a 2-0, but I think we'll reach overtime in Nighthaven Labs, maybe Infinite, maybe, I don't know, 9-7 or something. And then on Cafe, we'll say a 7-3, 7-4.
And Yali as well.
Yeah, I'm
going
to give it a 7-5. On Nighthaven Labs, it's so dependent on your ability to deny or keep hard breach going. And to keep it frank, I think Friendship Team is going to be better at that than JJ's team is.
I completely agree. I'm going to go 7-4 for Friendship Team to take away JJ's map choice. And with that, the map is ready, so we're going to toss it over to the casters. Have fun out there.
That you're willing us on to have fun. Honestly, I'm ready for this series. It's JJ versus Friendship Team. It's a match that I think isn't getting a lot of attention as it should be. I think JJ really set the bar for that interview. It's going to make this a really exciting match. I think there's no two ways about it.
Absolutely sure. And JJ and co, the one thing they're coming into this game with is kind of low expectations, right? Surely people will talk trash on you on Twitter given the interview you just gave. But even still, you come into it thinking they were the team who was just in Pro League. They're the team who did way better in Element 4. We are the team that nobody expects to do very well, at least in this best of 3. I know most of the talent didn't think they would get out of the quarterfinals against Cruelty. They managed to do that. So Jazz, at this point, where can they really be stopped? It feels like the sky's the limit for this JJ and co roster.
Oh, well, talked about talent. It's the first time we're casting together. I'm really excited.
Yay. They put me back on color.
Yeah, I threw you back in the doldrums. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Yeah, I think the sky's the limit. There might be an asterisk on that. I think Nighthaven Labs is a really good limit.
Hey, well, apparently they already have a map win. If you look at the top, so
that's,
you know.
Oh yeah, wow.
Look
They're already off to the races.
Coming into this series with a default win.
Wow, did you already believe that? I mean, this is basically crazy. Just how the Bands Coast game is going to go as well. It's already rigged in their favor. So
we already rigged the Bands Coast game. Don't worry.
Yeah. So in case you don't even have to watch that game. It's a 2-0 Bands Coast. I mean, I can just tell you the results right now. So now you have to watch this game because now you don't know the result of this game except for the fact that JJ and Co won the map. No, okay, but getting serious for a moment, I think that Nighthaven Labs is a map that I went into. I was like, really? Like this is a JJ and Co pick? Wait. Oh, why does it say it's a Friendship Team pick? All of a sudden.
Nope. JJ and Co picked it on the graphic. So
then which one is it? And why did JJ and Co have a? Okay, I think
I'm not sure. Oh, it's corrected now. They haven't corrected the map count though. Couldn't get that one done yet. It's like I always say, when trolling occurs, Zayshow on fraud is not far. He is close behind. He is near at all times when trolling occurs, man. Okay, there we go. It's all done. And into round number 1 we go. Friendship Team get the defense side start, and they elect to go up to that top floor. The goal here for JJ and co just to start things off to open up some breaches. They're only bringing 1 hard breach source, though, so you're going to be a little bit limited if there's any resistance in the way. Fortunately, there isn't, though. No Kai, no Mute, no nothing like that. They have the Mira that they could open, and with that C4, they could possibly trick off a breach, but it looks like they're actually just going to try to go really fast.
They've already gotten themselves inside of a garage. They've got, I mean, a lot of control early on. 2 picks going in their way. Silent and Kicks are dead. I mean, 2 of the best players of Friendship Team, I'd argue, at the current moment. Now both gone. Eddie next to fall. It's just a shooting gallery. And Giddy, he's new to this team, and he's already in a 1 versus 4. They've already put the entire round on him, and he's not going to be able to do a damn thing about it. Wait, we have cameras? Oh my gosh.
Oh, this is going to be insane, dude. He's just going to do
with
this every
the Rangers
single time.
shirt. I mean, it literally couldn't get any worse than that. This
is just insane.
This is awful. Shout out Emilio on the right, but the mentally deranged man on the left, I have no idea who that is.
Yeah. Well, it was so fast, too. Like, he barely even waited. We cut like a second or two after the round ended, and he was mid-motion already.
He already hit the emote.
Someone gave him the instructions to do that, but either way, the instruction at the start of that round, very clear for JJ and co. It's like they said in the interview, we're going to play classic Fluffy Aimers / JJ and co style Siege. We're going to walk at people, we're going to take fights, and they're going to have to take and win gunfights against us, but they're not really getting to take them on their own accord. And that's the perfect example of how to do that. You push really quick. You may not take that much map control, but you've already established yourself in so many different parts of the map. They opened up the con breach, they opened up IT wall, and then they're just trying to make a play towards the site. And they did it fast enough so that Friendship Team didn't have time to respond. By the time they were able to fill in gaps for each other, they were getting ran down by a Blackbeard and IT. And that's never really a great scenario. So JJ and Co. set the pace really fast, and that is a great way to start off a full best of 3.
And if you really think about it, it's a perfect storm, too, because Friendship Team are a team that are renowned for the way that they play their peel back and the way that they're able to kind of keep their roamers safe as soon as a push goes against them, or as soon as there's map control. They're able to back up. In this case, maybe just back up into sight, reinforce the wall, play the Mira. That's Friendship Team's strength, is they're able to delay. With JJ and Co. kind of just getting themselves in front of Friendship Team and forcing those fights early, there's really no way for Friendship Team to be able to play that peel. You already see JJ, well, he walks up, but yeah, there's a frost mat on the stairs, and he has no idea. Not even a drone was able to spot that, and Giddy just walks away with his first pick of the series, and I mean, it's as easy as can be. Recited, however, immediately going in and getting 2! And that is insane! What an insane play from Recited on that Blackbeard. I hope I'm not saying his name wrong, actually. I need to make sure I'm not saying his name wrong, but that's a 2-piece,
and he didn't respond.
That is no, I think he might have. I think it's Recited. I think that's how you say it, but I won't disrespect his name ever again, because that was a beautiful 2-piece.
Oh, 100%. That's exactly what you need, the quick response and the lack of fall off from Friendship Team. In theory, it makes sense to just stick around, but when you know they can just burst in at any moment, getting a pick there, you kind of need to take that and run, right? The Raptors position is a position that, given that you still have another reinforcement left on the defense, you could just reinforce it, given that there's still a rotate hole there, and it would be just fine. But instead, overstaying their welcome, and now a triple kill for Recited. Now that Silent did manage to get one, knocked down on a Recited, though, into the 2 versus 2.
Snake now going to try and go for the res. It's a really important pickup as well. There's no utility to deal with that Blackbeard except for maybe those goo mines still being up or a lone frost mat. So having that shield, very crucial here to JJ and Co, who have seemingly slowed down. Both Nick and Eddie not giving themselves away. Super Shorty! Not always consistent, but works in the hands of Eddie. Has Silent in his crosshairs. The only full HP player left on JJ and Co. Going to be tagging along with Recited over towards Wave. This is where the push is going to come from. You have Eddie still sitting inside of IT. Nick was playing not too far away in Pillar, but there's 40 seconds left. They're just going to go for intel here.
I like that play from Eddie inside of Raptors. That's what I was talking about. Getting a kill and then not contesting because you know how quick they're going to be on those trades. And now with the 2 versus 2, it's not looking too bad for Friendship Team.
No denial there. You can't get Recited out. He's just going to be able to go for that plant. All that Snake has to do is just hold. But now Nick going to go in for that swing. This is the only gap that could be spotted here. If Nick is able to go through, Eddie takes down the cover, and Nick is able to dance with his teammate. Get Recited off that plant. JJ and Co get stalled out, and Friendship Team are able to play their own game, winning that top floor site. Well, before we had those shenanigans with the overlay, I was going to say, and I think I'm right in saying it now, with Friendship Team playing on this map, this is one of their most well-played, most well-known maps. They brought it out in Element. But I guess JJ just sees a weakness here. And if I remember correctly, Friendship Team actually ended up losing this map to SSG Academy. So maybe Giddy can give him a little bit of help here, but that is an interesting thing, is that JJ and Co are kind of just chowing Friendship Team on the map that they're very comfortable.
Yeah, lost it to SSGA, lost it in the Swiss stage. They beat SSGA on it once, then lost in the grand final, and then they lost it in the Swiss stage as well to Loyalty is Scarce, who I have already since disbanded, which I would say is like a new world record, but it's T2 in North America, so it's just kind of the expectation. But even still, it's funny, we've got Epic in that lobby, a refugee from that squadron, but still. Good round, good response from Friendship Team. I like the adaptations they were able to pull out. And now down to the basement, the main thing here is just going to be about making sure you stick close to your teammates. Because the big problem in round 1 was that sort of lack of expectation, the surprise factor that JJ and Co really leveraged to win that first round. Friendship Team here, to minimize the impact of that surprise factor, which it seems like is going to be prevalent again with the Blackbeard already running up, they're going to want to try and stick close together. And it does look like they're going to go for a big, heavy push here.
Already getting inside of vending. The Exo hatch actually soft, so they're going to be able to open that for free with Epic on that sledge. Even though they haven't done so just yet. The Bandit! Nick just gets caught out inside of Exo. Recited, though, eating a ton of damage on the Capcan, so not going to get away with this scot-free, but he has 5 kills on the board. Friendship Team have been way too afraid of him, but finally getting rid of the Blackbeard. Silent will get instantly traded. Friendship Team now have to find a gateway back into sight, and JJ and co have already established themselves downstairs. All it takes is a matter of droning for them to basically walk into the site.
But they don't have a ton of information on that site itself, and they don't have a ton of information on the second floor player, or on the first floor players, and that's the big thing for Friendship Team here is, are they going to know when JJ and co elect to try and make this play? Because they need to be aware that JJ and co at any time could try to walk up and take the vert, but instead JJ's actually snuck all the way through the site, and he's getting the plant down in tank.
And there's no way you can get rid of him here. I mean, Eddie's still making the vert for it, so that plant going to go down. Unfortunately, Friendship Team getting their timelines crossed. Pixro now making his way down Exo stairs, but his team is falling apart all around him. He's got a C4 in tow, but a 16-bullet Roni. Not sure if that's going to do the trick. John Wick was able to kill 3 people with a pencil. I don't know if maybe Kickstar was able to do the same thing inside of Exo here. Immediately swaps away, though, as Epic peeks into him, and JJ, all he needs to do is hold. JJ and co now, I mean, maybe it is the element of surprise. Maybe it's the fact that they played on a new site. Whatever it is, JJ and co took control extremely early on and didn't hold back.
Yeah, that was all that they really needed, was that quick presence, and it seems like they're really exploiting the gaps they can notice in Friendship Team's defenses immediately. They're assuming the gaps are there, and then they're just going for it. That's a play that normally doesn't work super well for JJ Co teams, is they'll decide on a rush without actually looking at the defensive setup, and so that's worked against them plenty of times. But in this case, it's working really well because Friendship Team have pretty predictable setups, clearly, as JJ and co are predicting it quite well. Either that or the cut drones are helping out a ton. And then they're just making the quick plays that even clearly Friendship Team aren't accounting for with the Capcan traps on the door that nearly killed Resided, but still, it's just not quite enough because Friendship Team don't expect it as much. They don't expect the flood of the site. They don't expect these things to happen, and they need to get way more comfortable with these unorthodox strats, especially the first time around. Because you can't keep losing bomb sites the first time through. You defend them every single time. The adaptations have been good. They were last time. I'd imagine they'll be good here as a lot of things changed up. But we got to get it going the first time and not get caught off by those silly plays.
Fortunately, it's just, I think, the fact that JJ and Co are going so quickly that Friendship Team just can't get that information early on. And I feel like it's kind of just as a lack of map control. You can see that JJ and Co are already, like you said, going into those cuts and kind of just making their way in quickly. Friendship Team might have no idea that this entire attack is already aggressed up 90. They may have no idea that cargo is going to be hotly contested within the next 30 seconds. That lack of info is going to hurt them in the long run. Kicksrow, how we're going to spot out JJ. So at the very least, you know where this Montane is coming from. You know where a lot of pressure is going to be built up. But on this map, on Nighthaven Labs, even if you're just playing inside of 90, you have so many options you can work with. You can go into cargo. You can flank up wave here and try and make your way upstairs. There's so many things that JJ and Co could do here. So many options that Friendship Team have to try and read into.
But so many options for Friendship Team on the site itself, especially given, look at the attacking lineup. There isn't a ton of vert here, and as they walk down the vending stairs, it's 3 people there to meet them. And so JJ and Co, not quite eager to take that fight. They do gather that control, but it's like what I was just talking about. They don't really have anybody who can make a ton of vert aside from a few breaching charges and a secondary shotgun. That's not quite ideal, especially given that there's still a C4 on Nick. And so I do feel like Friendship Team made a good adjustment here, but this is still some very good control for JJ and Co. Everybody forced back to the site with half the round to play. Even if the vert isn't ideal, it should still be enough to find something. If it's not, though, could get dicey for JJ Co late, and it looks like Resided has caught out the flank. Silent goes down early, and that quick play from Friendship Team doesn't work at all. It's 2!
It's gorgeous. Recited was on that angle for literally the entire round. He was prone inside of 90 since they got into the building, and he was just waiting. And because Silent gave up his life, this is Recited now able to walk down cargo. All this pressure is going to come at a great time now as that plant is starting to go down. Snake is playing this so passively as well, going up against his former teammates, and he is showing up big. So are the rest of JJ and Co, nearly staring down a flawless round. Nick is still alive. The Sheriff is still in town. This is enough. Take down
Oh no.
JJ
Okay, Emilio. Okay.
Emilio just charging
Okay.
into the Kaid and Friendship team are, I mean, getting smacked at this point.
Oh, absolutely. There's no other way to put it. Friendship team are being sunned on this map. It is very clear why they chose to go to labs. And honestly, I know it seemed like a map the Friendship team have played a lot in the map that they are confident in, but it seems like the more they've played, it just lets JJ and Co know everything they have planned, right? They know exactly what plays to make, what Friendship team are going to do, how they're going to compensate with losing certain map control, how they're going to compensate with still having it and giving up map control closer to the site. They have always known what's coming and been able to make the plays quickly before a Friendship team can adjust. And I think that's the best thing. The pace of play has been so clean from JJ and Co. Oftentimes you'll see teams go for minimal takes, but then they'll stall out right where JJ and Co. got to. And that's a problem because the other team isn't going to give you ways back in. Well, you're not really going to be able to get anything done, and all of a sudden you only have one angle to attack the site at. When you started off the round super well, it just becomes a really predictable execute. JJ and Co are never letting it get predictable. They're either going faster than Friendship team can adjust to what they did early, or, like that last round, they're playing it slow at the perfect time because they know exactly what Friendship team are going to try and go for on the flanks.
One thing is always common, though. JJ and Co get in fast, right? It's just getting in. That is the first part, is they're getting map control, they're getting that early head start so that they can make those adjustments, so that they can play patiently, so that they can really flip on a dime. And that's one of the impressive things about JJ teams, that they're well structured in that tempo and they understand how to play pace and how to slow things down if they need to. But for JJ and Co, getting into the building has always been quick. Recited already finding his way in towards conference. Once again, only bringing one hard breacher, as we've noted before. Epic on that ace, no thermite, not even secondary. We had the sentry whenever it was a basement attack. Seemingly for JJ and Co, it's a single target sort of opportunity for them to get into the site in most cases. It's using that Blackbeard, it's using Recited, using JJ, but they're not even going to have any hard breach left. As Epic goes down first, they're going to force Silent here out of Electrical, and JJ and Co have already got themselves, I mean, they've gotten themselves in pretty far, but they have no hard breacher.
Yeah, they just don't quite have what they need to leverage some control here, and Friendship team are still trying to put it back in the faces of Friendship team. They want to get aggressive and not give this control up for free, and they're recognizing that's been the big problem. JJ and Co are taking contested control and then anticipating the plays they're making elsewhere, as in the plays the Friendship team are making elsewhere, but that play not anticipated. Kickstar with a big kill on his Snake, and now it's just the Monty who wants to try to take him in a one-on-one, but Kickstar knows that's a fight he can easily win, so why not just try to run away right after? Resident's running after him, though!
My gosh, it's a mad chase here from Recited. Not sure which one. I'm still gonna figure it out.
I think I'm wrong.
I think you're wrong. Melee priority's gone though. Recited doesn't win that one. Let's see if he has another challenger. They're just beating Kicksrow. I mean, what is this? It's a 1-on-5. I mean, it's just a clown show from the start. Once Epic died, all hell breaks loose, and it's a flawless out of Friendship team. They've been bested on this top floor site twice now. JJ and Co. Man, I mean, it felt like they had the reins on this game, and then all of a sudden just toss away around like that.
It's unfortunate to see for sure, but I'll tell you what, that's Friendship team adjusting in a really appropriate way. They're not giving up the map control fast that JJ and Co are trying to take. And that's the thing about taking that map control so fast, is that you're gonna cut some corners in the process of that, right? In a map as big as Labs, you can't just take all of that map control completely for free and not get punished for it if the other team is looking for that. You can't just take it all for free and also know that it's all completely free, because that would require a lot of droning and a lot of manual eye checking that JJ and Co isn't doing at the moment. And Friendship team read into that, and then they try to get really aggressive on the entries. We saw it there in Electrical. We saw it there from Kickstar just running around the map, trying to contest whoever's going to get into the building first. And it was really well played, so that is a very good adjustment. However, it seems to be a little too late. This is what I'm talking about. You got to be able to win sites the first time through without needing to adapt, because Friendship team at best can pull out a 3-3 half when they chose the defense start. And even then, they've still got to play this site for the first time, so who knows what's going to happen.
Yep, we've got Eddie on that pulse down below, hiding away from the drones, and I'm not sure if they've spotted him or not, but kind of the assumption that you're always running is that there is some sort of intel from below. Obviously not going to be the Valkyrie, so most likely going to be the Pulse. Kind of just hanging that over your heads if you're JJ and Co. What's their option is the question. Where are they going to go in from? They make it pretty obvious to us casters where we can kind of see it in the overlay. We kind of see where they're coming from. Seems like for JJ and Co., it's going to be that top floor working your way down. Friendship Team will learn that, potentially with that Maverick. Now the Ace starting to open up the wall. Silent getting spotted and will rotate away from Raptors to play deeper. And this is now Friendship Team, I feel like, are on a territory that they can work with here because they're well, coordinated when it comes to the roam. And I feel like this is an opportunity for them to work that.
I think so too. I think it's good to see how coordinated they are, and they're contesting all 3 maps in the meantime. And so it's not, it's not super crazy to think that JJ and Co could be able to catch someone out, but Friendship Team are compensating with that by getting really aggressive. Look at Silent here on IT. If he's not droned properly, he will be able to find someone, and they are fully trying to make the play on this part of the map, and so keep an eye on Silent. But Kickstarter dies, and then Silent gets caught out too. A tragedy on the roam clear.
Well, kind of disappointing. We were just excited to see how that roam would go, and it literally loses them the round. All 3 roamers, well, minus Eddie, getting cut from this round, all thanks to that top floor take. That Friendship Team just didn't have the proper position to rotate off of. Nick now getting spotted inside of storage. So you have a read onto where one of the anchors is. You don't know where Eddie is, but you have half of the team down. Eddie now dies, so you know exactly where the last one is. It's a flawless in response out of JJ and Co. That roam just completely goes under for Friendship Team. Nobody able to rotate back. Nobody even able to really waste a modicum of time that seemed important. JJ and Co. just kind of got that done pretty early, pretty quickly, and Friendship Team now have to face a 2-4 half as they swap over on attack.
And that site goes just about how you would expect it to go if you've been reading into the trends of how this game has gone so far. And it's that JJ and Co. are normally trying to play very heavily together and very fast when they're taking map control. And if you look at the strat that Friendship Team are employing, I kind of mentioned it in the middle of the round, they're contesting the basement, the first floor, and the second floor on a map that is massive on every single floor. So of course what's going to happen is that JJ and Co. are all going to try and contest one floor together, that being in this case the second floor, and then because of how fast they're getting that done, Friendship Team, because they have to contest so much map control all at the same time, are way too spread apart from each other to respond quickly. It's the same story again, and in that case Friendship Team didn't quite adjust the default strat that they were coming in with based on what they were seeing from JJ and Co. Because being that spread out and that far away from each other against a team that has been that quick to exploit just that, well, definitely a mistake, and it seems to be shown in the case of that round as well.
Yep, spot on, and now Friendship Team suddenly on a map that they're supposed to be extremely familiar at, on an attacking half with a 2-4 deficit to stare at. Kind of hurts. My Haven Labs is not exactly attacker-sided. I wouldn't call it a defender-sided map. It's definitely
like slightly defender-sided 50-50. It's like a chalet.
It falls into, yeah, exactly. It falls into the normalcy of like a siege map that I feel like is quote-unquote balanced. I feel like the game will always be kind of defender-side. Okay, well, I say that. I hold my breath. Yeah. I mean, there has been attacker metas in the past, and they were, but whenever siege is usually at its balancing point, you kind of have like a 50 to 55% defense.
Listen, buddy. JJ and Co. won the attack half, and that's not normal. That's what you were getting at?
Pretty much.
That what you were getting? Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe I'm just not the numbers guy. Have you ever seen the Steiner maths thing? Oh my god, it's so good. You have to look up Steiner maths. You have a 33% chance of winning. But you take me, I'm a genetic freak, and I have a 147%. It's awesome. I love that video so much. Anyways, speaking of Friendship Team, I think a team slower than JJ and Co. You see a lot more methodical gathering up around the Steiny side. They're going to go for a push here.
Yeah, and Amelia wants to contest it really, really aggressively, kind of like what Friendship Team were doing on occasion. And this could be certainly effective, but they've already let one sneak by. They don't know that Amelia's here anymore, though. And one does sneak down vending, but is that enough?
Nate just swings out onto Eddie and absolutely eats it. Is that Recited is above? He just dropped down the hatch. He ran outside. And all of a sudden, it's just a feeding frenzy for Eddie. What in the world did I just watch? Epic. He's going to try and pick up the pieces. Fighting in a 1-on-3. Eddie has made his way downstairs, but there's still somebody above. And there's no way Epic knows that this player's here. Nick just rains Hellfire onto Eddie. I just can't believe what I just saw. That was a round for sure.
Yeah, I just saw anything you can do, I can do better. That's exactly what I just saw. Because they are trying to make a quick play down vending. Friendship team are, but even more so, it wasn't just a quick play down vending. It looked like a default, and then they just ran the shield into vending. And so what JJ and Co had planned to collapse against that exact take that Friendship team were going for. Again, I really do think that JJ and Co were super prepped for this map, which is why they picked into it. They had the full court press plan. They even had the man outside planned to run through the hatch that just got opened up by Friendship team. That was recited. But it just didn't work because they didn't anticipate that far forward presence of the shield. And so it's just absolutely going to chalk the attack, or chalk the defense, rather. It kind of looked like an attack in that case, as clearly the plan still is for JJ and Co. Try to take fights on our initiative, rather than letting them choose and dictate when they get to take the fights. But in that case, Friendship team adjusted just perfectly to the gaps that are going to be present in any defense that plays that way, and it gets them a big round win to start off their attack.
So hard to dictate the pace on defense whenever you have two, giant metal shields facing you as well. that typically is the response from a lot of attacking teams, because you want to be able to kind of control JJ and Co. You kind of want to be able to herd them almost, and with the shields, you can do that. You could force back roamers as long as you're not, forcing yourself into a corner with a roamer and getting yourself into a bad spot with a shield. You always have to have a teammate nearby, unless you're Blackbeard. Sometimes you don't, but those shields are painful for JJ and Co. on that defense. And it's what cut them down in the last round. The fact that they just couldn't deal with the Blackbeard whatsoever. That was Eddie last round. Now it's Kixro. We also have Nick on the Montaigne. Likely looking for that Raptors take. They're no strangers to it. They just faced it from JJ and Co. on that attack. Wall's going to get opened up. Epic nowhere in sight to bandit trick that, so no problem so far for Friendship team.
And they have a lot of people stacked up within IT Breach. They could end up going really fast here. You have the Ashe prepared. You've got the Monty who's going to make a play in towards Raptors. And yet again, JJ and Co. want to meet this at the rim and recited with a good opening kill, except this time he's going to double down. Emilio got the first one last time, but extend Kixro with 3! Oh, and it's back on its head once again for the second round in a row. JJ and Co. thought they had the plan, but instead Kixro knows what's coming.
Quad! What the heck just happened? Is he typing? What is he doing? I think he's writing all 4 of their obituaries. I don't know what just happened. That entire round just goes by the wayside. Epic is, again, alone. There's nothing he can do. They're going to give Kix this ace, but he doesn't get it. Epic gets 2 down, but Giddy able to salvage it. AJ and Co. just get ripped to shreds by that Blackbeard. What in the world? Once again, this is not the first time this has happened where JJ and Co. just had a round in their hands and they just absolutely lose it. Just completely. I mean, I can't believe that just happened.
I mean, it's just the same exact thing that we saw happen last round, right? Friendship team make a quick play to try and force map control all at once, even though they know it's going to be contested. But because they're all forcing it from very different angles, you're not going to put 5 people in Rafters. And so you let the bloodbath happen. These early kills that Recited was getting are kind of just acting as information. Very cruel method of information gathering, but information gathering nonetheless, because that just means that Kixro can walk straight up and kill 4 in Rafters, because they know that not Fluffy Aimers, JJ and Co. are going to try and contest them incredibly hotly for that map control. And so what can you do? You can use that to your advantage. You can kind of let 1 or 2 of your teammates die, and then play off of the information they gathered. Play to anticipate the re-ups of control, and Kixro does that entirely on his own. Friendship team clearly know how to deal with this kind of defensive setup on the attacking side.
Can always count on Kixro to give you a free round win sometimes. I think that's what he's well known for. We saw him struggle a little bit with it on Element Finals. You kind of saw Silent being the one awake. The desk highlighted that Silent hasn't really been living up to the expectations that we normally set on him. Could be because he's filling the roles maybe of a player that they don't have. Not sure. The team dynamic, haven't asked them, haven't talked about it. No bandit trick coming out once again from Epic, so IT wall will get opened up. Yeah, whatever the case may be, or Friendship Team, if it's not Silent, it's at least Kixrow. It's not Kixrow, maybe you have Eddie coming through. It's not Eddie, maybe even Wi-Fi.
Oh, Wi-Fi. Oh.
Oh.
I miss him so.
But that's the problem, right? You don't have Wi-Fi. You don't have that consistent mark. You always have to... You don't have that baseline anymore. You have to perform now if you're Friendship.
And they're trying to get aggressive here, but Recited gets even more so. I was about to say Friendship Team contesting a lot of map control quickly, and I just saw a main drop the hatch, which is exactly what I want to see. JJ and Co get that first pick, and then they don't let Friendship Team try to all make the play at once. They got ahead of the play first. They knock down Silent next. Recited does go down right after, but overall, a much better defense thus far, but Kickstar's getting active again, Jazz.
Gosh, please, not again! It's a double kill from Kixrow. Is he gonna go for the third? I mean, guys, how many times are we gonna spin this lottery and lose? How many times are we gonna keep playing the same gambit? Stop peeking Kixrow, damn it! It's a 2 versus 3. JJ and Co, like you said, playing that roam really well, but just couldn't maintain the pressure from Kix. And with a minute left, Friendship Team now have a lot of time to discuss options. They're going to, trying to hack the camera, but actually gets blown to shreds. And Silent gets taken down too, so Snake manages to find that, and JJ and Co are suddenly back into this rapid kicks.
No. The only person who could kill him was himself. The only person in the server who could kill Kixrow is Kixrow, and now they've got 35 seconds to try to make an attack happen. They're not upstairs. They're on the first floor. They're basically just going to have to jump in storage window, but this is so expected. Shotgun Champion is right next to the window.
Bad news bears. Kixrow's just going to hop in. Oh! But he wins it! C4's coming out, though, and it finds both! Epic has been in this situation a lot of times, so give him the chance to win one, and he'll finally take it. 1 versus 2 from Epic from that C4. What a calamity of a round. JJ and Co will be able to recover, though.
I mean, that round, some rounds are just beyond color, and that round feels like one of them. I mean, what? Like,
what do you even say to that?
Like, I don't... Dude, so, like, they get the roam clear. It looks great, and then I thought that... I thought that JJ and Co were going to start to fall off because you notice you're getting the early kills consistently. You do that again. Don't give them time to respond. Just try to fall off quickly and force them to keep making plays when you hold a man advantage and maybe fall back on some crossfires. But then they kept re-upping in the same ways they had in prior rounds and ended up down again. And then it just kind of became a bizarro round. Kix fell down to the ladder hole, and then they had to run into the site, and then he I didn't even realize you could kill someone at a 90-degree angle with a shield in the way that he just did. But he murks Snake. Just absolutely destroys Snake. But then the C4 is good enough, so it's fine. And that's another round where I feel like JJ and Co, very lucky to get away with it, right? You had the 3 versus 2, the 2 versus 1. Those aren't situations you can reliably win against Friendship Team, and you haven't been winning them. So I want to see them try to maybe fall back a little sooner off of those roams. Based on what we just saw in that last round, felt like, you get another early advantage, you end up down again. That's the 3rd time now. Maybe we should just try to take those early advantages and run.
Too many times have JJ and Co just completely faltered to the hands of, I guess, greed. Seems like that's what the motive is for JJ and Co. I don't know why. It just, every time that they're up on that roam, every time that they do everything so perfectly, they just aren't able to wrangle themselves back together, back into sight, back into a safe position where they can play those numbers and play that advantage. Friendship Team are a team that are actually exemplary at this usually, so taking notes from Friendship Team might be up JJ and Co's alley. But that's the thing. That's what JJ and Co are missing, is half the time they make these massive plays, but they're all for naught because you immediately just lose all those picks. Thankfully, though, they were able to win that round from that C4.
Oh.
JJ and Co, however, might already have a challenger towards the site as that Animus wall gets opened up, and you have Eddie on that shield, so maybe making progress towards the site early on could be the move for Friendship Team.
And it looks like they just want to go in soon. They're already preparing this diffuser holding Montaigne to crouch through, and he's going to get met at the rim again. The C4 goes out, and a big kill for JJ in the opener. That is every single defensive round for JJ and Co. They found the opening kill, but JJ's not content, not listening to my advice. He gets the kill, and he wants more.
That's the problem. That's exactly what I was going to highlight. You notice that JJ is immediately just back into this bad spot that's kind of tempting him. I mean, well, it doesn't seem like it's going to matter. This is crazy. This is crazy. This is a crazy level of stat padding here. I've never seen anything like it. You're in a 5 versus 3? Yeah, all right. We're finally going to back up. JJ won't give. He won't give. He won't swing. I'm glad. But, man, oh man, the fact that we have to see this happen, like, at any moment, Friendship Team could just find 2 picks, and JJ and Co could suddenly be out of this round. That's what you have to be very dangerous about. And the only people that I feel like have the most control over that is JJ and Co. Epic is in, a corner right now, and Emilio hitting a beautiful shot takes him down. So it is a 4 versus 3, not nearly equal just yet, but getting close.
Yeah, at a certain point, you just got to start to play it like you should. And Giddy's going to punish Emilio off a situation where it felt like Emilio had the advantage and we were watching Giddy's POV. I'm glad that JJ and Co seem like they're trying to hold things down just a little bit more. But I don't know for sure, because every single time it feels like that, they try to buck those expectations. That's been what they've consistently been catching Friendship Team off with. It hasn't always been working in the mid to late rounds. So I like the position they're in now, and a good set of shots to the floors almost killed Kixrow. And there it is! 2-man advantage with an execute still to go for Friendship Team.
3 now is Giddy, I believe, dying on the site, on the hard wall. The final player getting caught inside a cargo. JJ and Co seemingly cruising into this match point without much of an issue. Are they able to maintain? Are they able to close it out? This is a map that I didn't expect to be this, I wouldn't say simple for JJ and Co. I feel like it's been pretty difficult. But the fact that Friendship Team have been down for pretty much the entire game is really surprising. The fact that Friendship Team have been struggling so much, not only just on Naive and Ladders, but just without Wi-Fi in general. It's really been an interesting thing to watch. You now have Giddy on this map, 4 and 8. Not the numbers you typically expect out of him, but it's a new team, it's a new squad. Previously, Friendship Team playing with Ash. And, well, let's just say it was harder than with Wi-Fi, right? And it's always going to be. Replacing such a set piece like that. You have to wonder if it's tearing Friendship Team apart, if they're going to be able to find a replacement. If Giddy's going to be the answer. If it's just, not really working out. You have to ask yourself those questions, especially because you're on a map where it's like, okay, guys, we've done this before so many times. Why is it suddenly so difficult?
I'll tell you why it could be getting difficult. It's the fact that JJ and Co have won 8 of the 10 entry gunfights so far through this series. I guess through the series, through the map, they both work. But point is that when Friendship Team are winning the opening gunfight, they're winning rounds, but it's not happening enough because Friendship Team are not expecting these opening fights. Specifically, Recited has won 5 of them by my count. Might have been 6, but I missed one in there. But still, he has been phenomenal in these early fights on both attack and defense, getting multiple on each side of the map. And they're enabling him in all the right ways. They have teammates next to him, so he's not worried about taking fights. But just generally, this is what JJ said during the interview before the show he was going to do. He's going to force fights, and this time, he's making sure his teammates have a clash to force those fights off of.
They just love this clash, JJ and Co do. They have not... They can't put down the clash. They just can't. It's always been in their repertoire. Always been thinking. It's always been their toolbox. JJ loves those shields. He's an old-fashioned kind of guy. Old-fashioned IGL. Leading a new squad. A curious amalgamation. As we've talked about, Epic, obviously. Hold that thought silent. It's already in con. So we'll note that down quickly. But once again, Epic being on LIS, being on a team that crumbled in front of his eyes, a team that was 3-0 in Swiss Stage and Element and then weren't able to win in playoffs. Cited a new player, kind of, I would say T3, now making his name obviously in T2. Got Snake, ex-teammate of Friendship Team, an unexpected pickup, but working well with JJ. You have Emilio, typically not with this kind of scoreline, but Snake, 10 kills, that's to be expected out of him. He does eventually go down, but has taken down both Silent and Kixrow. Very important picks here. But JJ now is trying to get flash, but it's not going to matter because he has that shock, and Eddie is forced to back away.
And now it's on Friendship Team to try to force a play back. They've spotted out an opportunity inside of Rafters, and they want to make the play on it, but there just wasn't enough time. And you swing back from Recited, putting it back in the face of Friendship Team, and it looks like map 1's over. JJ & Co. picked it for a reason.
Can't believe this is the outcome that we're looking at here. Friendship Team, a map that they're so well versed on, a map that they understand, a map that they have played so many times, one of their most played maps, as a matter of fact. Clubhouse, probably their bread and butter, but Nighthaven Labs might be chalked up to dirt as JJ & Co. take their map pick. You shouldn't be surprised because it is JJ & Co.'s map pick, but they don't play this map. This is a new map out of them, and this is a map that Friendship Team have historically been dominant on. And now moving on to Cafe, question marks hanging over the head of Friendship Team and their future.
It's just not the best way to start it off. And when an opponent takes you to a map you thought you had in the bag, you thought was one of your favorites, and you just get owned on it, that's never a good way to start off the series. You don't need me to tell you that. And at a certain point, it just gets scary. Friendship Team, maybe the mental's in the bin a bit, but they still did get the chance to pick a map themselves. At the end of the day, that we thought was a map they'd be good at, it's not the map that they chose. So we will get a chance to get into that very soon, and still hope for Friendship Team.
Cafe is next. Cafe is a map that I think that Friendship Team have experience on. I don't think that it's a map that they're like too, you know, it's not like a map where I'm like, oh yeah, that's a Friendship Team map, right? It's a map that they're good on, right? It's a map that they're good on at best. And I think that they're going to find a little bit of comfort here, but obviously they had a lot of trouble whenever it came to those Nighthaven defenses, and that's the one thing I wanted to highlight. Those defenses were, and that's kind of what I'm worried about, is if JJ & Co. can just continue to be extremely quick and they're able to take map control that typically takes you minutes on end to clear if you're Friendship Team playing, you know, or if you're playing up against Friendship Team. It feels like JJ & Co. are just able to find a way to punch through that defense. The Cafe is going to be map number 2 between Friendship Team and JJ & Co. JJ & Co. taking away that victory on Nighthaven Labs, but we'll be back very shortly with the desk and then with map number 2. I just had a lot of fun. Hey guys, welcome back to the semifinals between JJ and Co and Friendship Team. If you haven't seen it already, JJ and Co walking away with a victory that I would want to call dominant, but there's definitely a bit of a question mark around it. You've seen Kicksrow and you're seeing these highlights. That's the thorn in the side for JJ and Co here, and sometimes JJ and Co have been their own worst enemy. So now we have to temper their expectations and see if they can fight themselves as well as Friendship Team here on Cafe for map number 2.
Yeah, and the big theme of last map was just how early every single opening fight was happening. The map had ended, and it didn't feel like it had even started, right? Like, it just didn't feel like a siege map should be able to finish that quickly, in which both teams are looking competitive and taking rounds. And so that definitely threw me off a little bit when I realized, like, wait a minute, they did hit match point. Because he mentioned it at one point, and I was like, huh, that feels like that happened too soon.
Yeah, it didn't feel like it.
No, it didn't, and it's because every single round was happening so fast, and that's something JJ said in his interview. He wants to force quick fights. He wants to try and take the action of Friendship Team, throw them off kilter a little bit, and force them into fights they didn't think they'd have to take at that time, in that place, things like that. So that's a theme. It seemed like Friendship Team kind of caught on at times, but every single time we thought Friendship Team had JJ and Co. boxed in, they found a new way out.
It's a really good way of describing it, right? It's like, oh, wait, we're on match point now? All of a sudden, JJ and Co. just kind of walked away with it? Because it feels like JJ and Co. were stumbling through that, and yet Friendship Team still weren't able to capture a lot of those moments where JJ and Co. were making mistakes and kind of taking advantage of it. It just felt like a back and forth, and to that point, JJ and Co. were just the more aggressive team. They always started out a round with a pick in their favor, like we said. I think it was like 8 or 9 rounds that they went without losing the entry. So that's going to be tough going up against that, constantly having a 4 versus 5 or even worse. So you're going to have to find a way to slow down this aggression here. Map number 2 of Cafe underway. It's picked by Friendship Team, but we talked about it already. Nyhaven Labs, kind of a surprising victory in the way that it happened, considering how Friendship Team have already played that map so many times. They already understand it. Mm-hmm. Can they understand Cafe better than JJ and Co?
Well, they picked into it, so that is the hope. Doesn't mean JJ and Co. get to start on the side they choose, though, and they elect to go to that defense side first, and they take away the blitz, and Friendship Team takes away the Deimos. I don't know if op bans are still bugged, but that would make sense if they were, because that feels like the totally wrong bans. But either way, yeah, it just feels wrong, and I swear they both banned the opposite of that last map. So I've heard that on some points that map bans are like, or op bans are like weird right now. I don't know, but the gist of it is that these 4 operators will not be played this map. So tough.
Silence. I was gonna say Silence kind of the one to be affected by that, but they've stuck him on Hard Breach seemingly. I haven't seen him on Deimos because he hasn't. I guess he's been banned.
Yeah, it's been banned. Yeah, that's why I haven't seen him on Deimos.
Yeah, like you said, it would not line up. It would not line up. I think a conversation that we had was JJ and Co. Specifically, JJ kind of having that miracle run, just too little, too late. Top 8 was his finish in Element. Now starting up with the squad with the addition of Epic. Is this the answer that JJ and Co. needs? Seemingly, the current answer is yes. Is it going to hold up against Friendship Team in this series? Are Friendship Team going to be able to find Cafe back into their favor? Once again, kind of staring down that 5th player slot of Friendship Team, looking at Giddy and being like, well, it was like, what, 4-8 last game, 4-9? I mean, not exactly the Eater of Worlds that we expected him to be. With Wi-Fi gone, Friendship Team have kind of been slipping in that consistency that we've been crediting them for. JJ is in a Jamiroquai music video, just sliding across the floor. I don't know what that was.
No, it sucks that you have the guy who like gets no references casting with you, so like your references will not work. Like I'm really sorry.
Like Virtual Insanity, like the YouTube video, and Jamiroquai just like sliding across the floor and like reaching his hand out to the camera.
That's really funny. I bet that's. I think I might be. Is that the like? I don't know.
Am I casting with DeepSeek? What is this?
Dude, I don't know, man. I was
like, guy's just like, I bet that's funny.
I was T2 the year I showed up. Maybe you are casting with an AI, bro. They call me the industry plant sometimes, man. I don't know.
I'm not the industry plant. I'm good, right? I swear.
They call me that. Yeah.
Oh, they call you that.
Maybe,
oh, I mean,
they call me that. No, yeah, they call me that.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I understand that. That makes sense. No,
no. Anyways, round 1. Cafe, we got our sillies out, and JJ and Co, I don't think they have. I think they are itching for a run out. And clearly Friendship Team agree, because look at what they're doing. They have 3 people on the cocktail side of things, and they are just waiting for the run out. They're flashing through the window to try and enable a rappel up. Nick has put an air jab down. It's been shot immediately because there's someone already there. I can't tell who's one step ahead of each other, but it looks like Amelia starts the round off one step ahead because Silent has just died to him, and he gets away safely.
That line scan is not going to be able to temper JJ and Co. That is merely a suggestion to stand still, and they will not take that option. Epic, however, has been standing still inside of white, looking for the right opportunity for this play. He's already shot an air jab and has wasted a lot of Nick's time. Friendship Team, however, trying to make progress, trying to make their way over. Recited just, going around the world, sprinting past Psycho and just bulldozing his way through. But JJ walks up red and kills 3. What am I witnessing? Nick is all by himself in a 1-on-4 because a damn UMP 45 just tore his entire team in half.
I don't know. I just don't know, man. It feels like everybody's trying to outpace each other and just trying to get to certain rooms first. That whatever happens from an unexpected angle is just gonna work. And that's all that really has been happening. Drop down a hatch for Nick. Does get one, but it just feels like it's gonna be over, and Snake will close it with an impact nade. And they let him know. They let him know to celebrate this time. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh my gosh.
The Microsoft
slide,
PowerPoint of JJ in the celebration. I don't know what that move was, but it looked wonderful. And that round looks wonderful from JJ and his company as well.
Guess we just couldn't handle JJ.
Yeah,
just
no.
completely just took all of our bandwidth. He went for that emote. If you're not seeing what's going on in chat, this is no surprise. JJ and Co. Rather JJ. Getting in the heads of Friendship Team. He said in the interview that he thinks that Friendship Team are kind of a fake tier 1 team. He's now calling all 3 of Friendship Team, that being I think Eddie, Silent, and Kicks, who are on the Pro League roster, calling them all fake pros. That's kind of what you'd expect out of JJ. It's that mental game. Friendship Team have, with all due respect, kind of not earned that pedestal just yet. They haven't earned that platform, and I think that they're looking to do so. It's only one hitch in the road. JJ and Co playing very aggressively in that round, and Friendship Team be able to read that off for the rest of the time.
Oh no, wait a minute. I didn't even get a chance to speak, and Snake had already gotten the spawn peek in. Silent jumping over the railing. I don't know, whatever it was. He tried to jump over something, and he died for it. Snake catches him out, and that's the second round in a row Silent has been the first one to die. We mentioned it a little bit in the last map. The desk talked about it before they were so viciously removed by that Inglorious Dictator Zay show. But even still, they got the chance to speak about Silent. They said he maybe needed to step up today. Hasn't been doing so at the start of this map, to say the least.
That was the time, though, for Friendship Team to try and get active. JJ and Co going for a mining and dining hold. Something we've seen a lot of teams do is kind of forego that top floor. I think Friendship Team are actually a team that like to do that on Cafe. We might see that on their defensive half, where they'll play the middle floor sites and then the basement and then the top floor. I could just be completely lying. I can't remember if it was them or a different team I'm thinking of. I think it's Friendship Team. We'll see. JJ and Co, I think I've not been afraid of anything Friendship Team have been throwing at them. Just playing this roam, playing extremely aggressively. With Silent being dead as well, with Friendship Team being down man count off the jump. JJ and Co once again just playing to their strengths, playing to these entries, and there's nothing really that Friendship Team have had in response.
It looks like the run out might be the response here for JJ and Co. Nothing they need to respond to, they just feel like going for it. Giddy does catch the feet of one. Doesn't quite do any damage yet, and the smoke's into the bomb site, but Eddie, as he gets in, gets downed insta, but 2 kills back for Friendship Team.
I don't know. I think it was a Claymore, and then the other one was just cover. I'm not sure what happened if that was the Repel player. Once again, JJ and Co, I mean, they've had this problem multiple times where they've just had the man advantage and have completely tossed it away. So with 50 seconds left, you can see Patience starting to wear thin for Friendship Team. JJ and Co starting to slow down and fall back. Immediately recited off that fight, and Kixro, a massive victory there against the smoke. The denial now gone. Recited has nothing there to work with 30 seconds left. Friendship Team have found themselves a pick. They're now starting to storm towards that bomb site. Okay, well, he just slams him through a wall. That'll happen. 2 versus 2. Giddy now next to fall. Snake with a double. Might even find himself a triple as Nick gets caught walking into 90. Friendship Team, I mean, they almost had an answer for it, but no semblance of that round was found by Friendship Team, and JJ and Co. respond. Yet another 2-0.
It's like they're so afraid of taking map control against JJ and Co. because they don't know what's lurking around the corner. They don't want to try and contest the 3rd floor because they're worried about getting ran out on if they try to get on the windows, or they're worried about getting ratted on in a corner, or the instant they show face, they're going to get JJ running up red stairs on them again and finding a triple kill with the UMP. And even still, they're not able to get anything going before they're even trying to. The spawn peak puts them down instantly, and JJ and Co are consistently finding new, innovative ways to throw Friendship Team off kilter just a little bit, and it's always working. Friendship Team do not have the answers to this JJ and Co defense, and I don't think the answer was what we just saw. I basically just saw Friendship Team not really do a whole lot for 2.5 minutes and then try to walk at the site. Yes, they did get a couple of kills because JJ and Co were avidly swinging and trying to force mistakes, and Friendship Team were well adjusted to deal with that, but eventually you do need to make the play. And I feel like Friendship Team, given what's been happening all day, are just so scared of taking initiative against JJ and Co. They don't want to get caught out by some weird play in some wacky corner, and they don't want to have to deal with JJ and Co in the all chat. Fortunately for their sake, he has disconnected. He'll come back soon, but that does mean the chatting will return in due time. It always will come back.
The deputy now turning into the IT guy. So he's looking to try and find a way to get his internet back working. Yeah, it always feels like it felt like Friendship Team were kind of just playing under the assumption that eventually the perfect conditions would hit that they could execute. Just waiting for those perfect conditions isn't going to work on Cafe, right? It's very hard to pick off players inside of Cafe. It's a very defender-sided map for a reason. There's a lot of flank potential you can exploit. There's a lot of staircases you can maneuver around. So many options for that defense. They can play so fluid. If you stay outside for even just 15 seconds, that defense already, your intel's already different. You already have to re-drone. You already have to try and go for another push. Friendship Team are just trying to wait for those perfect conditions to hit so they can finally go for that execute, and it's not working out. Usually Friendship Team have been really strong at getting themselves into the building early and kind of slowing down and making their way in and getting the map control they need. But at some point, you kind of just gotta, like you said, just take initiative and do something.
Yeah, it has to be what happens for Friendship Team. Will say, not even the shields have been helping. They ran the shield last time, it just kind of died as soon as it got through the window because JJ and Co were so anticipating. They were so ready for it. That's what happens when you try to use too big of a word and it just kind of doesn't make sense in the sentence. And you have to go back to a different one. And it's just kind of, you're walking down with your head tucked in shame, like, oh, okay. Like, just walking back. Anyways, but that's kind of.
And then I come and beat you up and take your lunch money.
Could you not do that?
Nerd for messing up the word.
Okay. Yeah, it's not really nice of you. But, right.
Just Super 90?
That is. At what point is it just the trolling has gotten too far? At what point are we just trying to have a silly goofy time? And it's going to get even more in the heads of Friendship Team if they lose this round, and it could just snowball because we just lost a round to a Super 90, and it might get even worse. I was kind of going to mention about how that take 2 one-dimensional. Friendship Team didn't take enough map control, and that just became really predictable. But already a spawn peak going out, JJ not going to catch anybody. And so Friendship Team, the goal this time needs to be, we actually need to take some map control first. But look at that, 30 seconds and we're still in the spawn. They are terrified.
Well, for JJ, the player in particular, not just the team, it's for him to hold this Ethernet cable inside of his computer while he plays because he needs to feed as much networking power as he can to make sure he doesn't crash again. We've been seeing him lag across the entire map. Started off the first round with a 3K though, so it doesn't seem like much of this is phasing him. Friendship team are the one that seem phased. I mean, like you said, I mean, just getting into the building now, there's a minute gone already. You already have, I mean, a little bit of control here, but it took you a minute to get in. Piano control now just being established for a Friendship team. JJ and Co are going to be able to respond into this. I think that's epic. Sitting top white with that Super 90 that could potentially just throw Eddie completely off guard. His leg is sticking out. That's the only sign for Eddie to know that there's a player behind pallets, and I think he actually has some sort of
Blackbeard!
idea. He's not going for it. I'm afraid for him. Epic has got the Super 90. He's got the Sniper 90 in hand.
Please tell me he sees
see his leg. I don't think he knows. He's just staying there.
It's right there, man.
Epic.
You need to see that. You're playing Blackbeard.
Epic.
Oh my gosh, no!
It goddamn worked.
Oh my gosh, dude. Okay, for the first time since round 5 of last map, Friendship team win the opener just for that to happen. And so Eddie has been traded out. Good trade back, though, from Nick. He dies immediately after, though. JJ and Co playing very well off of each other. And there's only 45 seconds for Friendship team to cook and execute.
Yeah, while that was happening, a happy Friendship team were basically just losing the entire round to time. like that's the kind of the problem here. It's like you're not only just losing your Blackbeard, you're getting silent ends to make Vert with his Zofia. We're in the doldrums. We're broke. Like, this is bad. This is bad news. We're on the lowest tax bracket for Friendship team. They have no utility left. They have only an E1D for this execute and a 3 versus 3, and they have 17 seconds left. They're going at a snail's pace upstairs, trying to look for that pick, but Silent hasn't found anything. Ixro now getting in with the diffuser, has to take out the Gumine, so it's going to waste even more time. There's no direct denial here for JJ and Co. Recita gets cut down. Somehow this plant will simply work, and it's just the shotgun champion himself, Snake, in a 1-on-2. Downs one with the Bailiff, has the ACOG in hand. No shields to worry about, it's just guns up for Snake. He just had to click 2 heads. He knows where one of them is. Knows that there's a player stuck inside a pillar. Might opt to take that one and then move his way over to the player inside of Snow. But Kix gets down. He has no idea, though. I think that Snake thought that the player getting down was over towards Brown, but it wasn't. And Silent creeps up, takes care of the Snake. And JJ and Co. will suffer their first round loss.
Friendship team have a 100% conversion rate through this series. 3 rounds they have won the opening kill. They have played 14. They're 3 for 14 on winning their openers because Friendship team are not getting the chance. And even when they win one, that happens. Right there. That is what happens. And they can't see the foot of them. And just, you know what? At a certain point, Friendship team, the slow pace helps out, right? Because they're a pro league team. They know sets, they know how to execute, and they just have to have faith that they'll be holding the right angles at the right times. But all things considered, other than that slight mishap onto Epic, we'll call it a slight mishap, the rest of the round really well played. They paced themselves. They didn't let JJ and Co get wacky in crazy positions, and it worked because they knew that they didn't need that much time to set up and execute because their executes are pretty good. They have been dry running those for a long time. You gotta watch out for Epic early here. I think he has plans.
They cannot share with you right now?
And he cannot, because the haters. You know what they'll do. I mean, you know what they'll do.
We'll sabotage.
Zay has joined Sage joined RBC just to finish off the line.
Bro just want to be a part of the joke. I mean,
he just wanted to fit in, man.
Friendship team have they've been having a slot filling issue, haven't they? Well, not as much anymore. Giddy currently topping the leaderboards for Friendship team alongside Nick. But he hasn't filled in that role perfectly so far this game. It feels like Friendship team have been struggling to find their mojo. They've been struggling to play at a good pace for themselves. Last round taking it very slowly and it working out for them in the end. This time around, are they able to afford that kind of stall? Recited getting pretty aggressive with that smoke grenade use. Already throwing down 2, might immediately use his 3rd as well. So Eddie at least clearing out this utility and is doing it in good time, but Snake, oh man. If Recited goes for this drop here,
Oh no.
the Blackbeard bites. What in the world?
Ooh.
That was almost a pick there for Giddy, not able to find it. At the very least, you have 2 for Friendship Team. Emilio finding Kixrow, but that's the only pick going in the way of JJ and Co. as they have lost 2 and are now forced to rotate back, and that's exactly what Recited will do.
And they don't have a ton of map control left to take here for Friendship Team. So this site, especially the kind of site where you can play it slow. They made the right decision, and they've even got a ping onto the player on C or B2, but he just runs away. They had the yellow ping for it, but good timing to abandon that spot for whoever that was. I believe it was Emilio. And so now, good amount of time left for Friendship Team to make the execute work here and a man advantage. You know that means that JJ and Co are going to be forced to make a play so they can sit still, just like they did at the start, and wait for the play to be made right into their hands. It realistically could have been a 4-on-2. This might be the best start Friendship Team have had to around all day.
Matter of kind of trying to reel it into a victory. It's a matter of trying to reel it into an execute, and they have 35 seconds to decide where that's going to come from. You dealt with Recited and all of his smoke grenades. You have no more denial really to worry about. It's just going to come down to the positions that you choose. Eddie will choose wisely, wins that fight onto Epic, and now has secured control of that Heaven side. Will go for that plant inside of Cocktail, but there's still Emilio inside of Freeze. Nearly makes a jump for it, and it's another frag from Recited. JJ disconnects, but not before he can see his team. And completely cut out there. Friendship Team find yet another attack.
And I think Friendship Team have finally started to understand what they need to do. Nothing. Do nothing. Just wait. They can't. They're gonna push eventually. And it's like they all just sat there. Nobody was sitting in positions where they could get ran out on. Nobody was in really awkward spots. And they were all just really well set up for the play that they knew JJ and Co were going to go for. That send up red stairs. They weren't quite ready for the cigar shot play. I don't know who would be. I have no clue what Recited was doing, but it worked. And that's kind of just been the theme of the day for JJ and Co. Nobody's going to be ready for that play, but Friendship Team were. They have to stay ready for everything, and they're just waiting for something to happen. But this tactical timeout for JJ and Co, number one, might just be because they didn't have another tech pause and they wanted to get JJ back in the lobby. But also, I may be giving them too much faith, but this could be them trying to talk about, okay, guys, they're catching on. Why don't we try to change up the pace a little bit? So this could be a slower round for JJ and Co. I could, though, because given what we've seen so far today, I'm not 100% on that. And I guess I can't know for sure.
JJ and Co have kind of just been playing at whatever pace they feel like. Just whatever they're feeling like in that current moment, whatever tempo matches them the best. But for the past 2 rounds, it has not been working out for them. Friendship Team have been seemingly tiring out JJ and Co, seemingly making them exhaust all of their aggressive resources. And it feels like that's exactly what we're getting out of this game. It feels like JJ and Co have been... JJ and Co have been going for these flanks, they've been going for these aggressive plays. Just to realize that there's nobody there waiting for them. There's really nobody, there's no pick that they're able to find off of it. It just feels like they're going in and just losing lives. So now it's about tempering those expectations of what you're going to find on that roam. Maybe it's about playing for the late game. Maybe it's about catching Friendship Team off guard because they're going so late. Because they're going so slowly. Maybe it's about playing that late flank and kind of catching them off guard whenever you're going for that execute and making them feel uncomfortable before they even have any time to really do anything about it.
Seems like another full court press defense for JJ and Co. And we had a JJ moment there where our internet wasn't good, but we are all good. Sticking around, fortunately. But it is another full court press, it seems like. There were players all the way down to the first floor, although they have since moved. It was 2 people, I believe, on staircases who have since gotten up to the second floor. So nobody's actually on that first floor. And Friendship Team are not on any floor. They are taking their time to the umpteenth degree. They want to go slow because, just like I was saying, they've picked up on the fact that the best thing they can do is nothing. But right now, this looks like a very default strategy from JJ and Co. They've got all the normal utility in very normal places aside from maybe the Ela, but even that's been a little bit more of a pick on the rise lately. And this is not what I'm assuming Friendship Team expected to see. A very reserved defense from JJ and Co.
Doesn't seem like Friendship Team are going to hold back, though, making their way into Cocktail. The surprise, maybe, of JJ and Coher now actually getting caught off guard. Emilio trying to run his way down White, but immediately just gets cut by Giddy. Trying to make his escape, but isn't able to escape in time. That's a pick now going in the way of Friendship Team. We're starting to see things change here from Friendship Team. We're starting to see them have control of this map, tame the aggression of JJ and Co. No response until Snake comes swinging on by and takes down Kicks. But JJ is next to fall, and JJ and Co. once again trailing.
And they just need to force a play, but that's been what's doing them in every single time. Friendship Team now have the control they were looking for. They have that vert, and they forced everybody on JJ and Co. back to the wrong floor, and then Silent gets 2. It's only recited in the 1 versus 4.
What can you do? Friendship Team reading well into that, realizing that JJ and Co. really don't have a lot of options except to go for a pick. And Friendship Team, well, Silent in particular, just reading it pretty well. 3rd for him. Just as a little bit of a reward.
Wow.
Like a reward. And FT, well, shockingly, get it done on attack. They get 3 rounds in favor on the offense. And we know how that can be difficult sometimes, Happy. On Cafe specifically, it's a pretty damn good start. 3 rounds in a row.
And I'll tell you what, our lovely desk, who I hope is still with us to some extent, pointed out Silent. I pointed him out after 2 rounds when he got spawn peeked off the rip at the start of them. Since then, he has gone 6-1. And that's telling you that their entries are doing what they want to do. They're enabling them better, and they're not getting caught off guard. And that's the key here, is because your entries were the big problem last map. And when you win them, you're winning rounds. They're still 100% on converting rounds whenever they win that first fight. The key was just making sure the entries didn't get caught. And now that they're taking that extra time, they're going a little bit slower at the start. Silent is finding so much impact in these rounds. He's not getting spawn peeked. He's not dying first. Instead, when Emilio killed him, first, right off the rip, in round number 1, since then, 2 times, maybe even a 3rd, because during that cluster that was round 4, I missed who exactly got the opening kill. Giddy has killed Emilio first, and it's been that problem for JJ and Co. We're giving up bodies early.
Yeah, when FT start to find themselves in that entry, things start to get a little dangerous, considering that's pretty much been JJ and Co.'s ticket for the past few rounds, for the last map that they just played. Friendship Team are staring down Chalet. It's their potential map number 3, their potential final battleground if they're able to win this map. JJ and Co., specifically JJ. Historically, Chalet has been a map that has eluded JJ in his career. Been the map that has basically been the ceiling for JJ. Now in a very important game for him, in a proving moment, he can beat your 2nd place Element team on this map. And you're cruising out of this semifinal into a grand final. But if not, the Friendship Team take you to that fated Chalet. That they themselves don't play all that much, but they still have better odds than JJ does.
Oh my gosh.
Be the end of times, but Shotgun Champion going down, Snake getting taken off the board, a former member of this Friendship Team core back when they were on LG. Currently the top fragger for JJ and Co.
And I'll tell you what, that's something that I'm just now picking up on. The past 3 or 4 rounds, what have we consistently been seeing from Friendship Team? If you've been noticing it, there have been a ton of yellow pings. They are way more patient with their droning, and they are making sure they check every single crevice, and there, the yellow ping enabled them to find that opening kill. That is the 4th time in a row they've gotten it, and they haven't lost a round when they win that first fight.
Now they have a red ping with that Grim, just giving them an exact location as to where Epic is. Emilio, I mean, he just can't do a damn thing.
Oh.
Boxed like a fish, but Resident freeze him like Nemo. It's a 3 versus 3 now. And JJ and Co, I mean, JJ and Co are in a 3 versus 3. Unfortunately, we've seen this way too many times before. Friendship Team managed to find and execute victory on this exact same site, but now they have a lot more time, and they have one of their soft features up.
Yeah. They can work this vertical, they can take their time, and they can play off the execute. They know how to do so well. JJ and Co. are so far pushed back. One could even say boxed. One could even say in the way that a fish could be boxed. You know, you could say that. I wouldn't. But even still, 25 seconds to go. Friendship team very, very far out. And they're going to have to just make a play. But it's JJB sack up the brown stairs, shutting the execute down.
15 seconds to go.
There's that late flank. This Friendship team getting something lost of value there. However, Kixro still manages to get in with that diffuser. No C4 left for JJ, but he kills the cover. That plant's gonna go down though, so Kixro can still win it. Epic and JJ have to be careful here, but it's not gonna matter as Kixro goes down. JJ and Co are successful on this middle floor bomb site. They managed to win inside a reading, and JJ is letting him know, stealing all of our bitrate in the process and probably tearing down his entire ISP. We're tied up now, moving on. It's that defense here for a Friendship team.
Tell you what, there's a really small kill in the middle of that round that I think totally shifted it. And it's a sign that maybe Friendship team a little overeager, right? And it's, we were watching Eddie go in through heaven, win a 1. They're in a 4-on-3, and he's getting swung from pillar. And he ADSs in a really odd spot and gets swung from the predictable angle. Right there, that one. That shifts the round, because instead of having a Blackbeard up in a man advantage execute, you're in a 3 versus 3, and you may not have the bodies to watch a hypothetical brown stairs flank. And wouldn't you know, that brown stairs flank is exactly what won the round for JJ & Co. So I really, really think that that kill right there is what pivoted the round. It's a sign that maybe Friendship team trying a little too hard to punish JJ & Co. all the time, but given that it's specifically Eddie, maybe that has something to do with the mental game that JJ's been playing against Eddie in particular all day long. Either way, a JJ & Co. round win, the first time the Friendship team have lost a round where they win that opening fight. And, well, maybe the wrong time to lose out on that momentum.
Talked about it before. Friendship team played that attack very last second, and I think that flank was exactly what JJ & Co. needed. But now, swapping over to attack. Once again, seeing my Glorious King Sledge being played. He's a 2 armor.
No, Stompin plays next game. Our Glorious King. Yeah, okay. Yeah, why don't you cast the round? It's a play-by-play. No.
Sure. When I feel like it. Snake was leading the charge there. Recited also doing the same thing. Noticing that JJ is the one far behind. Emilio, at the very least, acting as a second squadron here. Alongside Epic to try and make their way towards that site. Barreling towards the top floor and right into a cap can. So you've immediately lost that shield. This entire white stairs flank has seemingly fallen by the wayside, and the only person to even touch the site is JJ. Oh, but Epic catching Silent through a punch hole. Puts us at a 2 versus 3. Once again, Emilio and Epic are just trying to go upstairs here. Even though the site is dining, they're going to start to rotate towards that diffuser, realizing the scenario now, and going for that plant. Emilio has to do his hardest to go for that cover. Epic really can't do much as he is just completely pressured from that vert above, and that is an easy round for Friendship team to read into.
And Friendship team back on track in terms of winning that first fight and then making the play happen later on, winning that round and converting that early kill. And I think that Cafe has something to do with that. It's not quite labs. It's not as big. You can play closer together while also contesting a higher percentage of the map than you can on labs, while you also prioritize sticking close together. And in that case, it works beautifully for Friendship team, because you know JJ & Co., what have they been doing all day? They're trying to force control, they're trying to make quick plays, but a lot of these early ways into the map can be kind of bottlenecky and don't have a ton of other ways to play off of them. And that's what we saw right there. We basically just saw everybody walk up white stairs. A Pro League team is going to know how to deal with people, with everybody going to the same angle. And that's what we just saw. Friendship team with all that PL experience hold their nerve in the right position. And while it looked like they couldn't deal with stuff like that on labs, that's because there were more avenues for JJ & Co. to spice things up from and really get in from a bunch of different angles. Here on Cafe, we may not see those same opportunities.
Friendship team, it's kind of a question of, are you going to be able to temper JJ & Co. on Cafe? And I feel like the answer is it's a lot easier than it is on Nighthaven. Nighthaven's a lot more of an open map. It's a lot larger. There's a lot of areas you can contest. With Cafe, you can do it, and you can kind of do it on the roam, but whenever it comes to like a top 4 take or whenever it comes to a mid site, there's only one or two ways you can come from. It's either going to be, well, that is if you're inside. I mean, I don't know. I think it's a difference between map control and the amount of map control that JJ and Co are going to be able to establish in the time that they have. They're very stubborn in their ways. They always want to go in one avenue. Sometimes that avenue is weaker than others. That white stairs flank, yeah, it gets you close to sight. But what control do you really have? At that point, you're kind of just falling to that white stairs. You're falling down white stairs, which is exactly what happened to JJ and Co. There's really not much you can do. I feel like for JJ and Co, they want to make progress where they're way into sight. But it seems like JJ and Co's still going to try and work that direct. I'm wondering if it's going to work out for them. No Capitao being brought, notably just that.
And then try to go somewhere else. Maybe just a fake. Nick caught by the bees. Kixro outside the building, but nobody's even close. And so he will not get punished. And it looks like he'll get in.
Just falls for free, but JJ and Co still managing to maintain man count up until activity out of this attack as Friendship Team. I mean, they didn't even have to do that much to get that round win. JJ and Co just hand it to them.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is the best even though JJ and Co found some kills back, by the time Friendship Team rotated back to play off of what they knew was happening, which, again, didn't
A dreaded 3v3, I feel. That entry from JJ and Co. I think for some times for Friendship Team, for some of these rounds, it's pretty easy to read into. Schultz is trying to work itself out. Eddie now all by himself trying to fight with these shield. It was close towards the end.
Surely was, and you get the feeling that in a certain position like that, it's just JJ and Co. a little too much, getting a little too crazy, and they don't quite have that coordination the friendship team have around, or rather, the friendship team have. Friendship team have that more coordination because they've made some changes here and there, but the system still persists. But even still, JJ and Co. make a small play towards white. They show presence, they 1-for-1. And then we saw 3 orange outlines all of a sudden over towards Whiskey Bar. No, friendship team is adapting to what you're doing, and so well called there.
Saw it, a little bit of hints of that on the defense. Now starting to see that carry over. Process. Not sure where or how, but it's a bonus that they'll work with and immediately start to take in towards the site as they're getting this diffuser down.
And JJ's got all the time in the world to make this. He does manage to find one, but he and Kixro have to do God's work here, and Kixro's already dead.
Oh, happy. Oh, no. What has happened to Friendship Team? Feels like JJ and Co. finally reading into the pacing there. Feels like they're finally just getting a good read in general as to how Friendship Team are going to play the round. In the previous round, and then speeding things up, getting aggressive, never being predictable is JJ and Co. Never and Friendship Team have a good read on JJ and Co. on this attack. Continue to hold that lead. Can they continue to abuse the shields?
used yet.
Nothing?
Was it a Flores? Was it his teammate's
That's maybe it was
drone?
a Flores. Yeah, because I don't know. Maybe
he might
didn't
have. No, he still has 2.
Yeah, that's what
If
I
it was
mean.
the
That's what I
Flores
looked at.
drone-
I was
If it was
like,
the
what?
Flores drone, that would have been so.
Now at a 2 versus 3 as Eddie gets slammed inside a long bar. All that chaos, all that. Got Emilio on 1 HP. Oh, nearly wallbangs one as well. This round could very much be won here, but it's a trade. It's Epic to win his. And JJ & Co. once again on match point.
And they just find a way to keep things going. They are somehow resilient in spite of how weird some of these rounds are starting for JJ & Co. I don't think it's been awfully convincing, this map, compared to the last. In spite of how close both maps were on the scoreline, last map looked way better than this. But you said it, still the end result of them getting to match point first. And in that prior round, it just feels like Friendship Team not quite able to get a grasp on what's happening fast enough. They're able to deny the plant. But JJ & Co. were able to do something they haven't been able to do too much this map, and that's leverage a lot of different angles against Friendship Team. They had people on rappels in different places. There was the cigar balk presence. There was JJ in the middle of the site. They had the skylight to work with. And it's because they took a little bit more time. The rush plays aren't necessarily going to work like that, but if you try to force a little bit of map control, then you'll have some different angles to work with. And they did all that while also keeping the pacing up so the Friendship Team didn't know how to respond. They couldn't just do the first thing that came to mind, because they tried that, and most of them ended up dying for it. So, great adaptation there from JJ & Co. Love to see it. We need to see Friendship Team get another round here, otherwise they're going home already.
What a surprising result it would be. Friendship Team had a lot of question marks about them, had a lot of unanswered theories. Sort of died through without Kyle Wi-Fi Galati being an active member of this roster. Being there since the days of LG, successful player in his own right, no longer on this roster, no longer competing. Now the question has been, can they find a fifth, fill out this core? And maybe that's the one weakness of a team like Friendship Team who've been together for so long. Whenever you lose a piece, it's hard to replace them. And Friendship Team find themselves here on overtime. Can they beat the Deputy on their own map?
And so far, slow start again from JJ & Co. They don't want to become predictable. They don't want people to be able to think they can just walk in certain doorways and that's all they have going for them. And they're taking their time here because they know that that's what's required, and they want to give Friendship Team that little bit of respect. Not much given by JJ, but that much at least. So far, one of the slowest rounds we've seen, as a very default take through to try and contest that third floor presence. This is kind of what you'd imagine Friendship Team want, and that's exactly why. Because they've seen these kinds of takes tons of times before in scrims, and even on game days, way more important than this one. And so Giddy knows where to find that first kill.
Truly feels like JJ & Co. staring down around this completely losable, but what is this double plant from Recited and JJ? And it works! The double shield protection with that nade. Oh no, that nade!
Uh-oh.
Well, it tags up JJ and Recited. Team explosion seeming to be a problem for JJ & Co. But Friendship Team have more than enough problems to deal with as Snake finds a kill. Emilio onto Giddy. It's all falling apart for Friendship Team. Silent is next, and this double flank is all that's left. But Emilio with 3. It's all down to Nick in a 1-on-3. 2 shields to his face, and both of them gonna batter him down. Nick can do nothing as he stares at Friendship Team, and this is just brutal. This is cruel. This is unusual. It is punishment, and it is over as Friendship Team, T1 team or not, get taken down by the deputy.
The second time now that JJ's teams have lost tragically wrong in Element and then followed up the event after that, less important, but still, and gotten to a grand final, happened in restart after E3, and he bounces back this time to get to the grand finals of the Crucible. And just cinema that whole way through, the phone already out, the tweet being made, the emotions being let fly immediately, and we expected nothing less after a big win like that. And even though it looked way better from Friendship Team that map, they're not even able to get it to overtime. They only get one extra round compared to their performance on Labs, and that's just not good enough. It just isn't. There's no way to sugarcoat it.
That is pretty unbelievable there.
Yeah.
That is Cafe, a map pick. I mean, I was already surprised whenever I saw Labs going against Friendship Team, right? Like, I was already surprised that JJ and Co won Labs. And then to do it again on Cafe, do it on the map pick of Friendship Team, that is concerning. That is really concerning for Friendship Team and their future. I mean, I really don't know what to say about that, Aiden. That was not the result that we expected there, and I feel like not the maps that we expected 2-0 from. I thought Chalet was in the books. I thought Chalet was a guarantee.
Oh, me too. All things considered, it looked like that map was going to be for sure locked in for Friendship Team. I mean, what? They got off to a start of 5-3 start, and then it was 4 rounds in a row from JJ and Co. And it all happened so quick. It just felt like Friendship Team in the driver's seat, and then 1 moment later, they've lost 4 rounds. And I think that pacing from JJ and Co. made me feel like it was less convincing out of them. In a weird way, it happened so quickly that it felt like Friendship Team's round wins took till the very last minute, and then the time it took for Friendship Team to win 2, JJ and Co. won 4.
Yeah, and it just felt like, despite the fact that Friendship Team were able to just, push that boundary as far as they can, try and make as much progress as possible, getting 3 rounds in a row on that half, just, it never felt like it was enough. It always felt like they had to go the distance. But happy that was our first cast together, and it was a lot of fun. But the semifinals number 1 is over. Stompin' is next. Oh boy, I can't wait.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait for 30,000 more people to be watching.
But for those of you that watched the first game, we appreciate you. The winner of the next game will go on to face JJ and Co. in the grand finals. But for me and Happy, that is it for tonight. You, semifinal number 2.
Welcome back, everybody, as JJ and Co. have done the unthinkable. They've come out strong, and then they're, the guys of some shields, Mason. They made our predictions completely wrong.
Yeah, I really thought that Friendship Team were going to come out swinging based off the map pool. I know that this is a team that's been struggling to find their identity and stuff, and ultimately I think that with playing with the sub it makes things difficult. But you got someone like Giddy, that's a super sub. It's not like it's they threw in some random bum off the street in or anything like that. I just felt like JJ and Co, their ability to control the tempo of the game, the ability to do whatever they want, they could, once they had their mindset to what they wanted to do, they would just do it. Especially on the attacking side, it was very, very fun to watch.
Yeah, and Yali, something that we sat down and talked a lot about while we were sitting there is, this meta with shields, it's interesting to say the least.
Yeah, it's interesting, but it only works under a handful of circumstances. I mean, obviously we saw over and over again, right, those 2 shields being brought, something that was made extremely popular by C9 Beast Coast during the Manchester Major. So it's not entirely unexpected to see it, but I want to throw us all the way back to round 1 of map 1, where we're going to see a highlight of this, right? Just right off the bat, Friendship Team not expecting this, and this push goes all the way through, doesn't stop, right? Friendship Team is tier 1. They're used to being respected. JJ is not going to let that happen. He said in his interview, they're going to get swung, and they're going to have to win a fucking gunfight, right? That's what he said. And that's the exact kind of delusional confidence that you have to have in order to play this play style. And JJ, He's got the cojones, okay? JJ is an inspirational leader for his team. Obviously, trying to get his team hyped up. Emilio shaking his head there. You can see that. But that's not without its flaws, right? Obviously, C9BC did it really well, but they did it because they built it upon a bedrock of foundational siege. If we go ahead and look at round 4 of that same map, we see where those cracks begin to form. We saw Kixro all the way on a deep roam by himself as Ella, and he says, well, I mean, I don't need to be here, right? Like, I don't need to fall back and run away from he was being pressed by 2 shields. Doesn't need to fall back and run away from these 2 shields. He says that I can actually press into these and get the kills. And he does. He pushes right into them, says, anything you can do, I can do better. Presses into them, hits the shields, and just completely stops them dead in their tracks. 1v2s 2 of these spearhead shield players, and it's because there's no ability for traits to happen. The foundational siege isn't there, because when we see these pro league teams running away from shields, they're not running away from the shields, they're running away from the backup, and that is the foundational siege that JJ was missing. Whoever they play in the grand finals, they have got to capitalize on that, or JJ's team is going to crumple under the pressure.
And Mason, as we talk a little bit, I want to just shine back on to Friendship Team because they still had a good run. They're top 4 here in Crucible, but like you said, they didn't necessarily pull somebody in off the street. They got Giddy, the Element champion on SSG Academy, but still, when we talk about Friendship Team, even though they might be a kind of pug stack, they're still a very well-structured roster, and I think plugging anybody into an equation is always going to lead to a big drop in play style.
No, and it's exactly the comparison that we talked about at the beginning of the stream, right? In the pre-show, we highlighted that Wi-Fi, or what their stats were with Wi-Fi versus their stats without Wi-Fi. You saw their defense had tanked in the statistical comparison, and in this game, it felt like the defenses were just not all there. Again, it's that direct style of taking. The way that JJ and Co went, they went for exactly what they wanted and no more, no less, and they got the job done due to that.
And you know, I love talking to you guys, but there's somebody else I want to talk to right now. It's the titular man of JJ & Co. Once again, we will have our interview with JJ. How are you doing today? I don't know if he can hear me. I do not know, but we're just gonna... I don't know if JJ can hear me. Okay, so... he can hear me. We cannot hear JJ. So as we continue to iron things out, I think we're gonna bring back the desk real quick while we get those technical difficulties out. I was gonna have him do a little bit of a dance party, you know, just kind of get things going, but instead we're back to you guys, my wonderful analysts.
We all know
I guess we can pick up where we left off.
We all know I can outdance JJ. I mean, we've seen the gifts.
No,
I'm not engaging in this. I'm not engaging in this. He's got it. Enjoy the dance.
So we don't have to see Mason dance. We do have the interview ready once again.
Yo, can you hear me
JJ,
now?
for the second time, yes, we can hear you. How are you doing today?
Let's go! Yo, so I did a little artwork for hold on, wrong side. Sorry, little artwork. If the stream can see that, right? I think everyone it says
Yes.
it says Eddie, right? So here's Eddie, right? Bang! 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 Clemps, recreate that one, buddy. Let's fucking run this shit. Let's go.
All right, JJ. So once again, congratulations. Really well done. We talked a little bit right before this game as you were talking about just your overall philosophy going into this game. I think the world needs to hear what what you were going through in the early rounds.
We're just back, man. Like, if anyone remembers, like, the wild card... Why am I being dragged? Stop dragging me in the cord, bro. Why am I getting dragged everywhere by the admins, man? I can't hear myself think right now, bro. They don't want to see me succeed. Bro, back in wild card restart, we used to be the kings back in that time frame, right? We lost our way. We started trying to actually play structure, bro. No one can hang with us when we're floating, and we just do our style. Half these rounds, we don't do it. Half these rounds, I have no clue what's going on. Like, one of the rounds, I'm like, yo, you guys want to, like, hop 3-man, hop the vending window, and rush site? And they're like, sure, we do it, it works. They can't fucking hang with us. We lost our way, but I'm fucking back now, baby.
Alrighty, and with that being said, you are definitely back. You're going to be punching your ticket all the way into the grand finals. And on the flip side, There's a couple of teams, mainly Core as well as M80 Academy, that will be meeting you. We don't know which one yet, but do you have a preference?
I would be down for either. It's a win-win for me. On one hand, it's Rival who left our team because he thought we sucked, and he also drop resided for like sole reason we had to drop resided was because Rival's just a bitch and didn't want to team with him. And then on the other hand, oh my god, I would love to play the console kids that think they're good, bro. I've been running this shit since they were fucking born. All right, they didn't know what a PC was, bro. They will not beat me. I lost them because I had fucking Mr. B on my team, which was a fucking troll. Okay, play me running shit, they're not winning. Anyone notice how I was lagging my tits off today and they still couldn't beat us? We were 4v5 and I was still 3-piecing them fucking teleporting. Alright, I'm either of team more though, because fucking they suck.
You're teleporting a little bit here, so your point has been almost put with an exclamation point. So, you know, you're definitely not lying. You're having some internet issues, but also I'll let you open the floor for any final thoughts, concerns, you know, anybody you want to talk to. I know you love to talk shit.
Yeah, shout out myself. I'm that guy. When I put my head down to it, when I do it my way, I don't lose, bro. LeVar Ball never lost. Put me against anyone in this bitch, I'm a win.
JJ, I always do love our interviews. It's always a blast. Thank you so much, and hopefully I'll be talking to you again tomorrow.
Oh, you...
And welcome back, as we're gonna try to break down and get into the mind of JJ. Yali, you know, when you're trying to put your, you know, feet into the shoes of a brilliant siege mind like JJ, what's the first thing that comes to your head?
Trying to put myself in the mind of JJ, the first thing that comes to my head is, wow, these guys suck. These guys are so bad, and we've got to beat them. And I think that's entirely his motto, and he tells that to his team too. They don't take failure as an option, and even if they do fail, I mean, he said it during his interview, right? We're going to lose rounds, we're going to lose gunfights, doesn't matter. What matters is that we step back up and start fighting back again immediately. We don't take a break, we don't let our mentals falter, and that is so massive when you're playing against a team like Friendship Team, first off, right? One of the two arguably tier 1 teams that we had at this event, and second off when you're playing that play style. So coming out of it, or coming from JJ, that's exactly what I expect is going through his head.
I know, when you're just JJing, you just need to know that you're the best, and that's all you have to do. But with that being said, one best of 3 is done and dusted, but we still have one more, as M80 Academy is going to be taking on Core right after this break.